I'm so excited to teach you this bread today. It's called naan bread, but half the time I always say it's naan bread. I always mess it up, but this naan bread recipe is actually in my sourdough cookbook. You really want to get sourdough down and have the yummiest recipes, it's all in here. Let's get started. The reason I love this bread is because it's very versatile. You can make tacos with this bread. You can turn it into pizza. Who doesn't love it with hummus or tzatziki sauce? Serve it with a cheese board. There's a million different ideas. So I love, love, love this bread. And the other reason that I love it is because you're actually doing it with a sourdough discard. So you don't have to worry about making the leaven the night before, waiting for that. It takes a little bit longer for it to rise, but this is amazing. With discard, okay? Come on. So we're gonna get started. We've got two separate bowls. We're gonna have our wet ingredients in one, and then we're gonna have our dry in the other. We're gonna start with 1 cup of discard, just like this. Even if you feel like you run through discard as fast as I do, because I get that question a lot, how do you have so much discard? I actually had to make more last night because I didn't even have enough. So you can act like you're making a leaven and then just don't do the leaven. You've missed its peak. That is essentially what discard is. So if you don't have any, make more. Act like you're gonna make a leaven. So we're gonna add 1 cup into here. I've heard that a lot of people think that this bread is so complicated, and it's not. I wanted everything I've ever made or ever shown to be so simple that you just know that you can do it. And then you feel like a rock star. Oh, wow. Got some discard on my arm. Okay. So then this is the important part, because I have tried sometimes where I don't have yogurt and I'm like, oh, you can add sour cream. No, you can't. You got to add the yogurt. So we're going to add 1/4 cup of yogurt. Then we're going to add 1/2 cup of milk. So we're going to add 1/4 and 1/4. So now we're just going to mix this up. That's all you have for your wet ingredients. Then in this bowl, we're gonna add our dry. We're gonna add 1 3/4 cup kamut. If you're doing all purpose, then you need to add more. I'll give you the measurements below. So 1 3/4 cup of that. Now we're gonna add 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder. So I'm gonna add 3 1/4 teaspoons. And if you're trying to have the yummiest experience with this, you gotta add the French salt, which I believe this is 1/2 teaspoon, but you know what? I'm just gonna go maybe almost 1. You know, it's the best tasting salt you've ever had. I love to store my salt in our beautiful handmade salt jar by our local pottery guy. It's got that airtight lid to keep the salt moist. I love, love, love it. It's like a little, I don't know, you guys called it Winnie the Pooh, you know, like pot, Winnie the Pooh pot. I love it. It's so cute. You don't need to get a different dough hook. We're just going to use the same one, and we're going to make sure that the baking powder is mixed in with your flour, because if you don't, you're going to get little tastes of like baking powder in the dough. So you got to make sure that it's well incorporated, okay? Now we're going to slowly add this into the wet and just slowly mix this up. The one thing that everybody needs to remember that I always talk about when you're making bread is that weather plays a big part when you're doing it. It's like, yes, a recipe book will tell you how much to add, but that doesn't always mean that is the exact amount. You can always add, but you can never take away flour. But you do want this to be a little bit more of a firm dough. This is looking really nice. So I think we're gonna add the rest. So we're just gonna get this mixed up in here, and then we need to take it out and start kneading it. And you want to knead this for about 5 minutes. This is why I don't lift weights, you know? It's just, this is my reason. I'm doing this all day. This is how you get your muscles. It's a little bit of a more firm dough, but this isn't dry. So I like to just then kind of knead it in the bowl, get it all mixed in. See how this is firm, but not dry? You don't want to add tons more flour. You want to barely add. We're gonna knead it now. There's definitely, when the kneading process happens, you think that you need to keep adding, and you don't. You've got to knead fast. And this isn't even the fastest that I normally do. But the faster you go, you're not going to get the dough all over your hands. And then you feel like you need to continually add. We're not sticking. Look how good this looks. You want the elasticity. Elasticity. Why did I want to say that word when I can barely say it? And then just like a nice, soft, pliable dough. Look at this. This could not look better. And this is not sticking all over our hands. And then after the 5 minutes, we're just going to literally place it back in the bowl. We're going to cover it and let it sit 4 to 6 hours. Let me go get my thing to cover. Then we want to cover the dough. This one is a little too big for this bowl, but look at this new one. I think it's so cute. So these are a beeswax wrap, and I've been trying to use it more than plastic lately. We make these and sell these, and I just think they're so perfect. They're reusable. You can wash them. But what I love is they just, look how it sticks and fits over your bowl. And I mean, it just makes you happy. This makes me want to get in the kitchen. All of this stuff is just eye candy to me. So now we're gonna let it sit and cover for 4 hours, and then I'll be back. So we have our dough that's now been rising for 4 hours. I made one earlier today, okay? That's the magic of TV. So see, it didn't get crazy big, but it did rise and it looks perfect. So what we're gonna now do is we're gonna just take the dough out. We're not gonna roll it out or anything at this point. Now you're gonna take my dough scraper, best little tool that you need in the kitchen, and we're just gonna divide this up and cut it into 8 triangles. You can make these as big as you want, like this. Divide into 8. And I like to then pinch around, and you're rolling it into a ball. Okay, we're gonna do that again. And we're just gonna continue to do that for all of these. See how easy? This dough feels super nice. Now, we're gonna get our rolling pin, just a tiny bit of flour. Again, we're not wanting to over add on the flour. And we're just gonna roll this out into a circle. And you want it thin. Get it as thin as you can. You can already start to see that there's bubbles when you're rolling it out, but the thinner you get it, the better, because it will puff up. Okay, now we're gonna just take it over on our hot skillet and watch how this starts to bubble. It's gonna take about 2 to 3 minutes on each side, but you'll see the bubbles, you'll see how it gets nice and brown, and then we'll flip it over. And we're gonna flip with this today. What is this? What do I even have this for? This is funny. I think it was for a cake. This is not what I wanted. It's for when people are naughty. Just kidding. Okay, I found one. Okay, it's not the best. The first one always doesn't look the best, okay? Ooh, that side's looking really nice. That one is looking nice. Okay, I then like to stack it in parchment paper. I forgot the parchment. Brown, because it's not bleached, and I like the look. Oh, okay. That's looking really nice. The pan is now getting hot. So once again, a little bit of flour, roll it out as thin as you possibly can. Super thin. Okay, let this go. Another fun thing I like to do is sometimes I just like to slab a lot of butter on top of that. Some bread and butter. Ooh, okay. SOS. It got a little burnt, but you understand, right? You get it. What you're watching for is almost like pancakes. You want the bubbles to start happening, and don't check it too soon, just like a pancake. But once you see some bubble action, then you want to flip it to the next side. Okay, yeah, ready? The first side is never the prettiest. The second side, after all the bubbles have happened, that's where you're getting that little bit of that look. That's what just makes it super pretty. And look, I already have now my sauces ready. I want to eat a bite right now. Yes, I can't wait for this. Let's check again. Whoa, it's perfect. What I love to serve this with is you have tzatziki sauce or any really great hummus. You can make pizza with it. So you would bake it up just like we're showing here. And then you would put it on a cookie sheet, put the cheese, the sauce, the entire thing like you would a normal pizza, and just pop it in the oven. It's really good. And then I've also made tacos with this, whatever you want to do. Cut it up into triangles and add it with a cheese board. I feel like it's one of the most versatile breads, honestly. Oh, this one's a beauty. Look at her. She's getting the bubbles. She's puffed up. Yes. She's beautiful. She's beautiful. This is the best one. Oh, look at her. Come on. Tell me you don't want to eat that right now. Oh, it's so good. I'm ready to take a bite. Should I take a bite? Why not? I'm gonna dip it in this. Oh. It's good. It's super good. If you ever feel like things are tasting too sour, it's because your discard might be older. Sorry, I'm talking with my mouth full. Don't keep your discard as long if you feel like it's too sour, because this doesn't. This is perfect. Yummy. I can't wait for you to try this. It's gonna be your new favorite thing. You can have this with anything. Serve it with dinner tonight. It's so delicious. I promise you're gonna love it, and you won't believe how simple and easy it is. So give it a try. Dip it. Eat it. I always think about a song. It's like, when you dip, I dip, we dip.